Emma Caldwell stood on the wide porch of the Caldwell Ranch, her boots scuffing the weathered wood as the Texas sun dipped behind rolling hills. The 500-acre estate, dotted with longhorns and live oaks, had been her father's pride, gifted to her before her marriage to Travis Caldwell 30 years ago. Tomorrow, they'd celebrate their 30th anniversary with a rodeo-themed bash at Austin's South Congress Hotel, a grand affair Travis insisted on hosting for 100 guests, friends, family, and oil industry bigwigs. At 52, Emma felt a mix of nostalgia and unease. Travis, usually gruff and distant, had been oddly attentive lately, bringing her coffee, planning the party with zeal. It didn't sit right. They'd met in Austin at a UT football game, she a rancher's daughter studying agribusiness, he a charming oil prospector with big dreams. Their love was wild. Nights two-stepping at the broken spoke, planning a life on the ranch. They married young, hoping for kids to fill the sprawling house. But children never came. Tests showed no issues, yet the void stung, especially with Travis's brother, Mason, needling about no Caldwell heirs. They focused on the ranch and Travis's oil ventures, but cracks formed. Travis's late nights, locked phone, and Mason's smug remarks sparked Emma's instincts. At 3 a.m., Emma woke to murmurs from the ranch office downstairs. Travis's voice, low and excited, drifted through the oak-paneled walls. "We gotta do this clean, Mason," he said. "She can't know till it's over." Emma's heart raced. She tiptoed to the bedroom door, ear pressed against it. "The surveyor's in," Mason replied. "He'll lowball the ranch, say it's just grazing land. She'll sign it away." "Good," Travis said. "After the party, Kaylee and I are set." "Kaylee?" Emma's breath caught. Who was Kaylee? The floor creaked as Travis climbed the stairs. She slipped back into bed, feigning sleep. He slid in, his body tense, restless. Morning brought a show. Travis poured her coffee, kissed her cheek, and grinned too wide. "Darlin', let's make tomorrow a blowout. South Congress Hotel, rodeo style, boots, hats, the works. All our friends, oil execs, you name it." His enthusiasm was jarring. For 30 years, Emma planned everything. Barbecues, cattle auctions, even their quiet suppers. Travis usually griped. "Sounds great," she said, watching him closely. He grabbed his Stetson, leaving his phone on the kitchen island. A notification flashed. Meeting with Kay at 10 a.m. As she fed the chickens by the barn, the Texas breeze carrying dust and cedar, she asked casually, "Who's Kay in your contacts?" Travis turned, a flicker of panic in his eyes before he recovered. "Oh, Kyle, the surveyor from Houston. Just checking some land specs." A lie. His left hand twitched, his tell. "I'll be late. Meetings." He left in his F-150, and Emma's chest tightened. The ranch house felt too quiet. She wandered to the living room, where a framed deed hung above the stone fireplace. Her father's gift, the ranch titled solely to her in 1995. He'd said, "Emma, this land's your blood. Protect it." A surveyor years ago valued it at $2 million, but her father hinted at untapped oil reserves worth far more. Travis called it sentimental dirt. Now, Emma wondered if it was the target of his late-night plot. A knock broke her thoughts. Mason Caldwell, Travis's brother, stood at the door, his cowboy hat tilted, his smile oily. "Emma, sugar," he said, stepping in uninvited. "Ranch looks good. Ready for the big shindig?" His eyes scanned the deed on the wall. "Working on it," Emma said, leading him to the den. "Travis wants a rodeo theme at South Congress." "Smart man," Mason said, settling into a leather armchair. "A home party ain't enough for 30 years. By the way, you thought about the future? Travis ain't young. 54 now, no kids, shame. My boys, your nephews could use a piece of this. Where's the ranch deed kept? Just thinking ahead." His tone was slick, rehearsed. Emma's pulse quickened. "In the safe." "Why?" Mason shrugged. Just in case. Land's tricky. He left, and Emma's mind churned. The ranch, the call, Kaylee, it was a scheme. She headed to Travis's office. His laptop password, their wedding date, 05/10/1995, failed. She tried her father's birthday, the ranch's founding, nothing. Then, Mason's birthday, 08/15/1970. It worked. Browser history hit like a punch. Selling property without spouse consent. Texas Divorce Asset Division. Undervaluing land for quick sales. Her stomach dropped. He was planning to sell her ranch and divorce her. Her phone buzzed. Her friend Callie, voice shaky. Emma, I saw Travis at an oil broker's office downtown with a young woman. They were talking about your ranch. She was hanging on him, maybe 28, blonde, all dolled up. Describe her, Emma whispered. Fancy boots, big diamonds, cold eyes. You okay? Fine, Emma lied, hands trembling. That evening, Travis returned with wildflowers and a bottle of Shiner Bock. For my one and only, he said, kissing her. The words felt hollow. We need to talk about our future, she tested. He stiffened. After the party, darlin'. Let's keep it festive. He flipped on a Longhorns game, avoiding her gaze. Emma nodded, but her resolve hardened. The party was his stage for betrayal. Emma's ace, a letter from her father's estate lawyer, received weeks ago. Her father, who passed last year, left an offshore account, $2 million in cash, a Colorado cabin worth $1.5 million, and mineral rights to the ranch's oil reserves. Emma planned to surprise Travis with it tomorrow, dreaming of expanding their oil ventures. Now it was her salvation. The next morning, Emma's stomach churned. Travis left early. Oil meeting. The house phone rang, voicemail from Mason. Trav, surveyor set. $2 million valuation. She'll buy it. Call me. Buy it? Emma grabbed Travis's forgotten phone. Pin attempts. Wedding date, Mason's birthday, failed. Intuition struck April 12th, maybe Kaylee's birthday. It opened. Texts confirmed her fears. Kaylee, babe. Ranch sells post-party. Millions in oil. We're set. You promised the penthouse too, Trav. Mason's handling it. Emma don't know squat. Surveyor lowballs. We sell. Divorce. Penthouse is ours. Another. Humiliate her at the party. She'll sign anything. Emma's hands shook as she copied texts. She called her old friend Lucas, a land lawyer in Austin. Need you today, she said. At his downtown office, she spun a hypothetical tale, but he saw through it. She spilled everything. Calls, texts, ranch, Kaylee. Serious, Lucas said. Premarital assets? Ranch indeed? Yes, from Daddy. Protected. Gather evidence. Record if legal in Texas. Secure funds. Stay quiet. Relief washed over her. Back home, Travis remarked, You look tired, Em. Maybe hit a salon? Callie's niece, 28, a stunner. A jab. Meeting tomorrow, he added. And Sunday, helping Mason with his truck. That night, Emma checked their joint account. $30,000 withdrawn. Gifts for Kaylee? Her father's offshore account was her shield. She visited their family lawyer, Mr. Hayes, who handled the ranch deed. Yours alone, Emma. Premarital. Travis has no claim without investment proof. Document? Tomorrow. A courier delivered offshore account papers. $2 million Colorado cabin. Oil rights. $5 million total. She opened a personal account, transferring half their joint savings. Travis called, too cheerful. South Congress booked. $40,000 for the best rodeo party. Expensive, she noted. Worth it, he scoffed. Mason arrived with a gift, a divorce lawyer's card. Just in case. The same firm from Travis's searches. Emma's rage simmered. At 2 a.m., Travis whispered in the hall. Party's set. Post-toast, I announce. She signs or we ruin her. Cruel? Practical. I deserve happiness. Morning. Emma formalized the offshore account at the bank. The advisor gaped. Fortunate. She checked the South Congress Hotel. Kaylee was there on phone. Trav, venue's perfect. Our penthouse soon. She dismissed Emma coldly when asked for the manager. Manager. $40,000, top-tier everything. Emma saw the stage for her humiliation. The Texas dawn painted the Caldwell Ranch in hues of gold and amber, but Emma Caldwell felt no warmth as she stood by the corral, watching the longhorns graze. The weight of Travis's betrayal pressed against her chest like a branding iron. Yesterday's discoveries, his late-night call with his brother Mason, the damning texts with his mistress Kaylee, and the plan to sell her family's ranch had shattered the illusion of their 30-year marriage. The ranch, a 500-acre legacy gifted by her father before their wedding, was the heart of her identity. Travis thought it was a shared asset, ripe for selling to fund his new life with Kaylee. He didn't know about the oil reserves beneath the land, valued at $10 million by a geologist her father trusted, nor about the offshore account her father left her, $2 million in cash, a Colorado cabin worth $1.5 million and her mineral rights. Tonight's rodeo-themed anniversary party at the South Congress Hotel would be Travis's stage to humiliate her, but Emma was crafting her own plan. She sipped her coffee, the bitter taste mirroring her mood, and replayed Mason's voicemail. Trav, surveyor's set. $2 million valuation. She'll buy it. The surveyor was in on it, lowballing the ranch to make it seem like grazing land, not an oil gold mine. Travis's text with Kaylee burned in her mind. Babe, ranch sells post-party. Millions in oil. Penthouse is ours. And the chilling promise. Humiliate her at the party. She'll sign anything. Emma's hands clenched. She wasn't the naive ranch wife they thought. She drove into Austin, the city's skyline a mix of glass towers and cowboy charm, to meet Lucas Harper, her old friend and land lawyer. His office on Congress Avenue smelled of leather and coffee, a Texan blend of grit and polish. Lucas, a wiry man with a handlebar mustache, greeted her with a hug. "Emma, you look like you're carrying a storm." "Spill it." She hesitated, then laid out everything. Travis's call with Mason, the texts with Kaylee, the plan to sell the ranch. "It's mine, Lucas. Daddy gave it to me before we married." "They're planning to trick me into signing it away at the party tonight." Lucas leaned back, stroking his mustache. "Premarital property's ironclad in Texas, Emma. The ranch is yours unless Travis can prove he invested big. Renovations, improvements, that sort of thing." "Did he?" Emma shook her head. "I paid for every fence, barn, and irrigation system. Travis just rode the profits." She'd managed the ranch's operations while he chased oil deals, often using her own savings for upgrades. "Good," Lucas said, jotting notes. "Get me the deed and any proof of your investments. The offshore account, your daddy's trust, that's separate too. Secure it in your name only. And those texts? Forward them to me. Texas is a one-party consent state, so record any calls if you can. Most importantly, don't let Travis or Mason know you're onto him." Emma nodded, a flicker of relief easing her tension. "What about the oil reserves? Daddy's geologist said 10 million, maybe more." Lucas's eyes widened. "That's your ace, Emma. Get a new survey. Independent, discreet. I know a guy, Tom Rivera. He'll confirm the value without tipping anyone off. If Travis is planning to sell low, he's in for a rude awakening." Back at the ranch, Emma dug into the safe in her father's old study, pulling out the deed. It listed her as sole owner, dated 1994, a year before her wedding. She found receipts for every major ranch upgrade, $200,000 in irrigation, $150,000 for the barn, all in her name. Travis had contributed nothing but complaints. She scanned the documents and emailed them to Lucas, then called Tom Rivera. "Can you survey my ranch today? It's urgent." Tom, a grizzled geologist with a thick Texan drawl, agreed to come by noon. "Heard your daddy's land might be sitting on black gold. I'll bring my gear." While waiting, Emma checked Travis's laptop again, using Mason's birthday to unlock it. New searches. Texas spousal rights to inherited land. How to force a property sale and divorce. Her blood ran cold. Travis was building a legal case banking on her ignorance. She copied the browser history and locked the laptop. Tom arrived in a dusty pickup, his equipment clanking. Let's walk the land, Emma. They trekked across the ranch's back pastures where mesquite trees stood sentinel. Tom's instruments hummed, scanning deep beneath the soil. After 2 hours, he wiped his brow and grinned. Your daddy was right. Massive oil deposits. Conservative estimate, $12 million. Could be more with drilling. I'll have a full report by tonight, sealed for your lawyer. Emma's heart soared. The ranch wasn't just her heritage, it was her power. She thanked Tom and headed to the bank to secure her father's offshore account. The manager, a young woman named Sarah, reviewed the trust papers with wide eyes. Mrs. Caldwell, this is substantial. $2 million cash, a Colorado cabin at $1.5 million and mineral rights tied to your ranch. We'll transfer everything to a personal account in your name. Takes 24 hours. Do it, Emma said, and keep it confidential. She transferred half their joint savings, $50,000, into her new account. If Travis was spending on Kaylee, he'd use his own money now. Back home, Travis was pacing the porch, his boots loud against the wood. Where you been, darlin'? He asked, his smile forced. Checkin' on the party, Emma lied, watching his eyes. South Congress looks nice. It's gonna be a hell of a night, he said, adjusting his Stetson. $40,000 well spent. Gotta impress the oil folks, right? He smelled faintly of perfume, not hers. By the way, you look a bit worn, Em. Maybe hit the spa? Saw Callie's niece today, 28, real polished. His jab stung, comparing her to a younger woman. Emma forced a smile. I'll manage. You got another meeting? Yup, oil execs tomorrow, and Sunday, helping Mason with his truck. Lies, piling up like dust in a drought. That evening, Mason arrived, carrying a manila envelope. Emma, sugar, a little gift, he said, handing it over. Inside was a business card for a divorce lawyer. Hayes and Associates, the same firm from Travis's browser history. Just in case, Mason said with a smirk. You never know. Thank you, Emma said dryly, her rage simmering. They were setting her up, step by step. At midnight, she heard Travis on the phone in the office. She crept downstairs, recording on her phone. Mason, everything's set, Travis whispered. Surveyor says $2 million. After my speech, I'll announce the divorce, push the sale. Kaylee's coming as my assistant. Emma won't make a scene in front of everyone. Smart, Mason said. If she fights, we'll say she mismanaged the ranch. She'll sign to save face. Emma's blood boiled. She saved the recording and slipped back to bed. Morning brought a new resolve. Emma drove to meet her boss, Jim Dalton, at Caldwell Cattle Commodus, where she managed finances. Jim, I'm heading into a rough patch, she said. Personal stuff. Might affect the party tonight. Jim, a burly man with a gray beard, frowned. Divorce? You and Travis seemed solid. Not anymore, she said. If things go south, can I count on you? Emma, you're the best accountant we've got. Your job's safe, no matter what. Back home, she reviewed the offshore account papers. The Colorado cabin was vacant, ready for her to start fresh. The $2 million in mineral rights gave her freedom. The ranch deed and Tom's survey, arriving by email, confirmed her untouchable claim. Travis thought he held the reins, but Emma was about to pull the rug out. She dressed for the party, choosing a tailored denim dress and turquoise boots, a nod to her Texan roots. Travis, in a crisp white shirt and bolo tie, grinned. Ready, darlin'? Tonight's gonna change everything. Sure will, Emma said, clutching her purse with the deed, survey, and trust papers. Time for the truth. The drive to South Congress was silent, the city lights flickering like her resolve. Travis drummed his fingers on the steering wheel, nervous. Emma stared out, remembering their wedding day. Similar silence, but filled with love. Tonight, it was a prelude to battle. The South Congress Hotel buzzed with the energy of a Texas rodeo, its grand ballroom transformed into a Western wonderland for Emma and Travis Caldwell's 30th anniversary party. Twinkling fairy lights draped from wooden beams, tables were adorned with red bandana tablecloths, and a mechanical bull spun lazily in one corner. Guests in Stetsons and turquoise jewelry mingled, sipping Shiner Bock and whiskey, while a country band strummed Johnny Cash covers. The air smelled of barbecue and leather, a nod to the Caldwell Ranch's legacy. Emma, in her tailored denim dress and turquoise boots, stood by the head table, her purse heavy with the ranch deed, Tom Rivera's $12 million oil survey, and her father's offshore account papers, her weapons for the battle ahead. Travis, in a crisp white shirt and bolo tie, worked the room, shaking hands with oil execs and flashing a grin that didn't reach his eyes. Emma's heart pounded as she scanned the crowd. Her friend Callie caught her eye, giving a subtle nod from across the room. She'd been briefed on Travis's plan and was ready to back Emma. In the corner, Mason Caldwell, Travis's brother, leaned against a bar, smirking as he sipped a bourbon. And there, by the stage, was Kaylee, Travis's mistress, introduced as his new oil venture assistant. She was 28, blonde, in a tight red dress and cowboy boots that screamed money. Her diamond earrings glinted, likely bought with the $30,000 Travis siphoned from their joint account. Kaylee's eyes darted to Travis, a smug smile playing on her lips. Emma's boss, Jim Dalton from Caldwell Cattle Comer, approached, his gray beard framing a concerned frown. "Emma, you look stunning, but you okay? You warned me about trouble." "Just wait, Jim," she whispered. "Tonight's gonna be a reckoning." He squeezed her arm. "I got your back." The MC, a jovial man in a 10-gallon hat, took the mic. "Ladies and gentlemen, let's raise a glass to Travis and Emma Caldwell. 30 years of love, ranch life, and Texas grit." The crowd cheered, glasses clinking. Emma forced a smile, her stomach twisting. Travis stepped up, taking the mic with a swagger. "Folks, thank y'all for coming," he said, his drawl thick. 30 years ain't nothing to sneeze at. It's a lifetime with one person, building dreams, facing storms. He glanced at Emma, his eyes cold despite the smile. "But I've been thinking hard about our life. What's worked, what ain't." The room hushed, sensing a shift. Emma gripped her purse, her pulse racing. Here it comes, she thought. Travis's voice hardened. "Truth is, folks, sometimes what feels right at 24 ain't right at 54. People change, dreams change. I've been carrying a weight, living a life that don't fit no more. Emma's a fine woman, but she ain't the partner I need for where I'm headed." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Callie's jaw dropped and Jim's eyes narrowed. "Travis? What the hell?" a guest muttered. Emma's cousin Sarah whispered, "Is he drunk?" Travis raised a hand undeterred. "I'm filing for divorce. It's time for honesty. The ranch, our home, it's time to sell it, split the proceeds fair. Emma, you'll get your share, and we'll part ways clean. I'm moving on to new ventures, new connections." He nodded toward Kaylee, who stood taller, her smirk barely concealed. The ballroom erupted in murmurs. Divorce? At their anniversary? A woman gasped. "And selling the Caldwell Ranch?" an oil exec said, shaking his head. Mason grinned, sipping his bourbon, while Kaylee adjusted her earrings, basking in the chaos. Emma's throat tightened, but she felt a strange calm. She'd known this was coming, and she was ready. She stood, her boots clicking on the hardwood as she approached Travis. "Mind if I say a few words, darlin'?" she asked, her voice sweet but steely. Travis hesitated, then handed over the mic, his confidence wavering. The crowd leaned in, expecting tears or a plea. Instead, Emma smiled, her eyes blazing. "Thank you, Travis, for your honesty," she said, her Texas drawl steady. "You're right. 30 years is a long time, and it's high time for the truth." She pulled a folder from her purse, holding it up. "See, I've known about your little plan for weeks. Known about Kaylee." She pointed at the red-dressed woman who froze. "Your assistant, who you've been showering with our joint savings. Known about Mason." She nodded at him, his grin vanishing. "And your scheme to sell my ranch." The room went silent, forks clattering to plates. "My ranch," Emma repeated. "Not ours. My daddy gave it to me in 1994, a year before we married. This deed," she waved the document, "says it's mine, premarital property. Travis, you ain't got a claim unless you poured money into it. But we all know I paid for every fence, barn, and sprinkler. You just drank the profits." Travis's face paled, his bolo tie suddenly too tight. "Emma, that's not," he stammered, but she cut him off. "Oh, I'm not done." "That surveyor you hired?" He lowballed the ranch at $2 million, calling it grazing land. But I got my own survey. She held up Tom Rivera's report. This land's sitting on oil reserves worth $12 million. You thought you'd sell it cheap to Kaylee's oil buddies, pocket the difference, and leave me with pennies. The crowd gasped, some clapping, others shouting. "Travis, you snake," a guest yelled. Kaylee's smirk vanished, her face paper white. Mason choked on his bourbon, coughing. Emma pressed on, her voice rising. "And let's talk money. Travis spent $40,000 on this party to humiliate me in front of y'all. Took $30,000 from our joint account for Kaylee's diamonds and your new ventures. But here's the kicker." She pulled out another document. "My daddy left me an offshore account. $2 million cash, a $1.5 million Colorado cabin, and mineral rights to the ranch's oil. All mine, Travis. You get half the truck and half the cabin we bought together." That's it, the ballroom exploded. "Emma, you tell him!" Callie shouted, clapping. Jim Dalton stood, glaring at Travis. "You're a damn fool, Caldwell. Emma's worth 10 of you." Sarah, Emma's cousin, pointed at Kaylee. "And you, homewrecker, thought you'd waltz off with her ranch?" Kaylee shrank, clutching her purse. Travis grabbed for the mic. "Emma, you're twisting everything? We can talk this out." She stepped back, shaking her head. "Talk? I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. Your lawyer, Hayes. Oh, look, he's slipping out the back. Won't help you now." The crowd turned, spotting Hayes, a wiry man in a suit, darting for the exit. Guests booed, blocking his path. Kaylee stormed forward, her red dress flashing. "Travis, you promised me a penthouse. You said the ranch was yours?" Her voice cracked, hysterical. "You spent $20,000 on my jewelry, took loans for me. Now what?" The crowd gasped. "Loans?" Emma hadn't known that part. "Loans?" she said, raising an eyebrow. "With our joint assets as collateral?" "Oh, Travis, you're dumber than I thought!" Mason lurched forward, red-faced. "Trav, what's she talking about?" "I put my house up for your damn lawyer." His bourbon glass shattered on the floor. "You said Emma was clueless." The crowd roared, some recording on phones. "Post it!" a young guest yelled. "Ranch reckoning." Emma placed the mic on the table, her eyes locked on Travis. "I'm done, darling. You're free to go with Kaylee, just not to my ranch or my money." She turned, walking toward the exit, her boots echoing. The crowd parted, some clapping, others shouting support. "You go, Emma! Show 'em how it's done!" Outside, the Austin night air was cool, the city lights twinkling. Emma breathed deeply, freedom washing over her. Behind her, chaos reigned. Through the ballroom's glass doors, she saw Travis, pale and stammering, surrounded by angry guests. Kaylee was screaming, shoving past Mason, who was yelling about his mortgaged house. The house of cards Travis built was collapsing. Jim Dalton caught up to her. "Emma, that was one hell of a show. You're a legend. Your job's safe, and hell, I'm giving you a raise." She smiled faintly. "Thanks, Jim, but I'm thinking bigger now." The morning after the rodeo-themed anniversary party at the South Congress Hotel, Austin buzzed with gossip. Social media lit up with Hushter Ranch reckoning, clips of Emma Caldwell's mic drop moment spreading like wildfire. Guests had recorded her exposing Travis's betrayal, his plan to divorce her, sell her family's $12 million oil-rich ranch, and run off with his mistress, Kaylee. The video showed Travis's pale face, Kaylee's hysterical outburst, and Mason's bourbon-soaked meltdown, with captions like, "Texas wife owned her cheating husband," and "Caldwell Ranch saved." Emma, however, was already moving forward, her boots planted firmly on the path to freedom. At 8 a.m. on October 7th, Emma sat in the office of her lawyer, Lucas Harper, in downtown Austin. The air smelled of coffee and old books, a stark contrast to the chaos of last night. Lucas, his handlebar mustache twitching with a grin, slid a stack of papers across his desk. "Emma, you played that like a poker champ. The deed, Tom Rivera's oil survey, and your daddy's offshore account, $2 million cash, $1.5 million Colorado cabin, mineral rights, give you an ironclad case. Travis can't touch the ranch. It's premarital, and you've got receipts proving you funded every improvement." Emma, in jeans and a plaid shirt, nodded, her face calm but resolute. "What about the divorce?" He's gonna fight dirty. Lucas leaned back. Let him try. Texas law's clear. Premarital assets are yours. The joint account, $100,000 left after his $30,000 Kaylee spree, is split 50-50. The truck and your shared cabin? Same deal. But his loans? Those are his problem. Kaylee's outburst last night about loans backed by your joint assets? I'm digging into it. Could be fraud. Emma's lips curved. He thought I'd crumble, Lucas. Thought I'd sign the ranch away in shame. Lucas chuckled. Boy, was he wrong. I've filed for divorce, citing infidelity and fraud. We're requesting full ranch ownership, your daddy's trust, and no alimony for Travis. Court's in 6 weeks. Stay sharp. Travis and Mason might pull something. She drove back to the ranch, the 500-acre expanse glowing under the October sun. Longhorns grazed, unaware of the storm that had passed. Her phone buzzed. Callie, her best friend. Emma, you're a legend. That video's got 1 million views already. Kaylee's been posting cryptic Instagram stories, whining about broken promises. Travis called me, begging to talk to you. What do I say? Tell him to talk to my lawyer, Emma said. And keep an eye on Kaylee. She's desperate now, Callie laughed. Girl, you're colder than a West Texas winter. I'm proud of you. At the ranch, Emma found a note taped to the front door. Emma, we need to talk. I'm sorry. Let's fix this. Travis. She crumpled it, tossing it into the fireplace. Sorry didn't erase 30 years of lies. She checked the safe, deed, survey, and trust papers secure. Her father's words echoed, "This land's your blood. Protect it." She would. Over the next few weeks, Austin's gossip mill churned. Travis moved out, renting a cheap apartment downtown. His F-150 repossessed after missing payments on a loan he'd taken for Kaylee's business venture. Mason, humiliated by his mortgaged house being exposed, avoided Emma, but she heard he was scrambling to refinance. Kaylee, meanwhile, was spotted at Austin's trendy bars, cozying up to a new man, a silver-haired oil exec named Greg Thornton, rumored to be worth $50 million. Emma wasn't surprised. Kaylee was a gold digger, and Travis was just a stepping stone. Emma threw herself into work at Caldwell Cattle Cabai, streamlining their finances and earning praise from Jim Dalton. You're a rock, Emma, he said one day over coffee. Heard Travis lost his oil consulting gig. Nobody trusts a guy who'd betray his wife like that. Emma shrugged. His choice, Jim. I'm moving on. The divorce hearing came in mid-November, held in a stark Austin courthouse. Emma, in a navy blazer and boots, sat beside Lucas, her documents in hand. Travis, across the room, looked haggard, his bolo tie replaced by a cheap suit. Kaylee wasn't there. Rumor had it she was in Dallas with Greg, planning a lavish wedding. Mason sat behind Travis, his face red from stress or whiskey, maybe both. The judge, a no-nonsense woman named Clara Ruiz, reviewed the papers. Mrs. Caldwell, you claim the ranch as premarital property? Yes, ma'am, Emma said, presenting the 1994 deed. My daddy gave it to me. I funded all improvements, $350,000 worth. Receipts here. She handed over the folder. And this survey shows $12 million in oil reserves. My husband planned to sell it for $2 million, knowing its value, to fund his personal ventures. Travis's lawyer, a nervous young man from Hayes & Associates, stammered. Your Honor, Mr. Caldwell believed the ranch was a marital asset. He invested time. Time ain't money, Judge Ruiz cut in. Show me receipts. The lawyer fumbled, producing nothing. Lucas stood. Your Honor, we have text showing Mr. Caldwell's intent to defraud Mrs. Caldwell, plus a recording of him and his brother planning to undervalue the ranch. He played the clip, Travis's voice, clear as day, plotting with Mason. The courtroom buzzed. Travis sank in his chair, whispering to his lawyer. Judge Ruiz's eyes narrowed. Mr. Caldwell, this is damning. And these loans, $50,000 against joint assets without Mrs. Caldwell's consent? That's on you. She turned to Emma. The ranch, its oil reserves, and your father's trust, $2 million cash, $1.5 million cabin, are yours. Joint account split 50-50, $50,000 each. Truck and shared cabin divided equally. No alimony given the infidelity and fraud. Emma exhaled, relief flooding her. Travis's lawyer tried to object, but the judge banged her gavel. "Case closed, Mrs. Caldwell, you're free to go." As Emma walked out, Travis called after her. "Emma, wait!" "I messed up." She didn't turn back. Outside, the Austin air was crisp, the courthouse steps leading to a new chapter. By December, Emma was packing for Colorado. The ranch was secure, leased to a trusted manager who'd oversee cattle operations while she explored drilling the oil reserves. She sold her half of the shared cabin to Travis for $20,000, cutting all ties. The Colorado cabin, nestled in the Rockies, was her fresh start, a place to paint, ride horses, and build a sustainable ranch. She'd already hired a team to renovate it, funded by her father's $2 million. Callie called one evening, her voice gleeful. "Emma, you hear about Travis? Driving for Uber now, living in a one-bedroom off I-35. Mason's house got foreclosed. He's couch surfing with friends. And Kaylee? Married Greg Thornton last week in a gaudy Dallas ceremony. Already posting about her new empire." Emma laughed, pouring a glass of wine in her ranch kitchen. "They got what they deserved, Callie. I'm done looking back." She hung up, gazing at the deed on the wall. The ranch was hers, its oil a promise of wealth, its legacy her strength. The Colorado Rockies loomed majestic against a January sky, their snow-capped peaks framing Emma Caldwell's new home, a $1.5 million cabin nestled in a valley of pines and aspen trees. The 2,000-square-foot retreat, part of her father's offshore trust, was no longer just a dream, but her reality. Emma, now 53, stood on the wraparound porch, her breath visible in the crisp air, a mug of coffee warming her hands. The cabin's cedar walls and stone fireplace felt like an extension of her Texas ranch, but here she was free. No lies, no betrayal, just open land and endless possibility. The divorce was finalized in November 2025, leaving her with the $12 million Caldwell Ranch, its oil reserves, $2 million in cash, and the mineral rights. Travis got half the truck and their shared cabin's value, $20,000, and a heap of debt. Emma was done looking back. Inside, the cabin was a work in progress. She'd hired a local crew to renovate, adding a skylit art studio where she painted again, her brushstrokes reviving the passion she'd buried during her marriage. Canvases lined the walls, vibrant landscapes of Texas plains and Colorado mountains, blending her past and future. The sustainable ranch she'd started on the cabin's 50 acres was thriving, with organic cattle grazing alongside solar panels and a small orchard. She'd named it Harper Haven, after her father, a nod to the legacy that saved her. Emma's phone buzzed as she unpacked a box of brushes. It was Callie, her best friend from Austin, her voice crackling with excitement. "Emma, you sittin' down? Austin's still talking about your party takedown. Ranch Reckoning's still trendin' on X, 2 million views now. Travis is a punchline. Heard he's driving for Uber, living in a ratty apartment off I-35. Barely makes rent." Emma chuckled, setting a canvas on an easel. "Couldn't happen to a nicer guy." "What about Mason?" Callie snorted. "Oh, he's a mess. Bank foreclosed on his house after he used it as collateral for Travis's loans. He's crashing with buddies, whining about how you ruined them." "And Kaylee? Her big Dallas wedding to Greg Thornton? Already hit a snag. Greg's oil company's under investigation for fraud. Shocker. She's posting sad selfies, hinting at betrayal." "Ironic, huh?" Emma shook her head, a wry smile forming. "They built their own cages, Callie. I'm just glad to be out of mine." She glanced at a framed photo of her father, his weathered face smiling beside a longhorn. "Daddy always said the ranch was my strength." He was right. Back in Austin, the Caldwell Ranch was running smoothly under a trusted manager, Luke Dawson. Emma had leased the grazing operations but kept the oil rights, negotiating with a reputable drilling company for a $5 million advance. The deal ensured the land stayed intact, balancing profit with preservation. She'd visit monthly, but Colorado was home now, a place to heal, create, and rebuild. One February morning, Emma hosted a small gathering at Harper Haven for local ranchers and artists. The group sat around a bonfire, sharing stories under a starlit sky. A young woman, Mia, a painter from Denver, asked, "Emma, how'd you find the courage to start over? Everyone's talking about your story. Standing up to your husband like that." Emma sipped her whiskey, the fire's warmth on her face. "Didn't feel like courage at the time, Mia. Felt like survival. I had my daddy's trust, $2 million this cabin, the ranch's oil. But more than that, I had the truth. When you know who you are, ain't nobody can take that away." Mia nodded, inspired. "You're like a Texas legend moved to Colorado." Emma laughed. "Just a woman who stopped letting folks walk over her." In Austin, Travis's life unraveled. His Uber gig barely covered his debts. $50,000 in loans he'd taken for Kaylee's venture, now worthless. His oil consulting career was dead. No one trusted a man who'd tried to swindle his wife. He'd tried calling Emma once, leaving a slurred voicemail. "Em, I messed up bad. Can we talk? I'm sorry." She deleted it, her heart unmoved. Travis had chosen Kaylee, chosen greed. Now he lived with the consequences. Mason was worse off. His foreclosure left him homeless, bouncing between friends' couches. He'd sent Emma a bitter text. "You destroyed us? Hope you're happy." She replied, "Y'all destroyed yourselves. Good luck." She blocked him, done with the Caldwell's drama. Kaylee's marriage to Greg Thornton crumbled by March. His oil company's fraud scandal tanked his fortune, and Kaylee's Instagram went silent after a final post. A blurry photo of her red cowboy boots, captioned, "Sometimes you bet on the wrong horse." Rumor was she'd moved to Houston, chasing another rich mark. Emma felt no pity. Kaylee had played her part in the betrayal. One spring evening, Emma rode a horse across Harper Haven's fields, the Rockies glowing pink in the sunset. She'd started mentoring young women through a local art program, sharing her story of resilience. Her paintings were selling, one fetching $10,000 at a Denver gallery. The ranch's oil deal was finalized, bringing in $7 million up front, with more to come. She was free, financially, emotionally, spiritually. Back at the cabin, she opened a bottle of Shiner Bock, a nod to Texas, and toasted the stars. "To you, Daddy," she said, her voice soft. "You gave me the tools to fight. I'm living now." The wind carried her words, and for the first time in years, Emma felt whole. The Colorado spring painted Harper Haven in vibrant greens, wildflowers dotting the fields where Emma Caldwell's sustainable ranch thrived. At 53, she was no longer just the betrayed wife from Austin. She was a beacon of resilience, her story of outsmarting Travis at their 30th anniversary party, a legend shared across Texas and beyond. The Ranch Reckoning hashtag had hit 3 million views on X, with comments like, "Emma Caldwell is a badass," and "Never mess with a Texas woman's land." Her $12 million Caldwell Ranch in Austin was leased to a trusted manager, its oil reserves generating a steady $7 million up front, with more to come. The $2 million cash, $1.5 million Colorado cabin, and mineral rights from her father's offshore trust were her foundation. But it was her new life, painting, ranching, and mentoring, that gave her purpose. Emma stood in her skylit art studio, a canvas before her capturing the Rockies' jagged peaks in bold strokes of blue and gold. Her paintings were selling fast. 2 had fetched $15,000 each at a Denver gallery, and a third was slated for a summer exhibit. But her real passion was her mentorship program, Harper's Hope, launched to empower young women in Colorado and Texas. She taught painting and business skills, sharing her story of reclaiming her life from betrayal. At a recent workshop in Denver, a 20-year-old artist named Lily asked, "How do you keep going after someone breaks your heart like that?" Emma smiled, brushing paint from her hands. "You don't just keep going, Lily. You build something better. My daddy gave me the ranch and the money, but I gave myself the courage." Her phone buzzed as she cleaned her brushes. Callie, her Austin confidant, was practically shouting, "Emma, you won't believe this! Travis showed up at my cafe looking like a drowned rat. Says he's driving for Uber, barely scraping by. Asked me to get you to talk to him, says he's changed. Ha! I told him to take a hike." Emma laughed, the sound light and free. Changed? Travis don't change. What's Mason up to? Oh, he's worse, Callie said. Lost his house, working as a bouncer at some dive bar. Keeps blaming you, but nobody's buying it. And Kaylee? Her oilman husband, Greg Thornton, got indicted for fraud. She's back in Austin, living off credit cards, posting about second chances. Pathetic. Emma shook her head, gazing out at her cattle grazing under the Colorado sun. They dug their own graves, Callie. I'm done carrying their weight. She hung up, her mind drifting to the night she'd exposed Travis at the South Congress Hotel. The memory of his pale face, Kaylee's screams, and Mason's shattered glass still brought a spark of satisfaction. In May, Emma was invited to speak at a Denver art festival, her story drawing a crowd of 200. She stood on a small stage, her denim jacket embroidered with Harper's Hope, and shared her journey, 30 years of marriage, Travis's plot to sell her $12 million ranch, and her father's trust that saved her. Betrayal hurts, she said, her Texas drawl steady. But it don't define you. What you build after, that's what matters. The crowd cheered, women wiping tears, men nodding in respect. Lily, her mentee, hugged her afterward. You're my hero, Emma. As the festival wound down, Emma was signing prints of her paintings when a familiar voice stopped her cold. Emma, can we talk? Travis stood by her booth, his Stetson worn, his face gaunt. At 54, he looked a decade older. Uber shifts and debt had taken their toll. His cheap jeans and scuffed boots were a far cry from the bolo tie swagger of their anniversary party. She set down her pen, her eyes cool. What's there to talk about, Travis? You said it all at the party, called me a wait, tried to steal my ranch, cheated with Kaylee. The crowd nearby hushed, sensing drama. Travis shifted, his voice low. I was wrong, Em. I lost everything, my job, my truck, my pride. Kaylee's gone, married some fraud. I'm sorry. Can't we try again? Emma laughed, a sharp, clear sound that drew eyes. Try again? Travis, you thought I was weak, thought you could humiliate me in front of Austin's elite. But I had the deed, the oil survey, Daddy's $3.5 million trust. I'm free now, living better than ever. You're the one stuck driving strangers for pennies. She stepped closer, her voice dropping. You made your bed. Lie in it. Travis's face crumpled, but he nodded, turning away. The crowd whispered, some snapping photos. That's her, a woman murmured. The ranch lady who took him down. Emma signed another print, her hand steady, her heart unburdened. By June, Harper's Hope had grown, with 50 women enrolled in Colorado and a new chapter in Austin. Emma's paintings were featured in a national art magazine. Her story headlined as The Texas Woman Who Rewrote Her Legacy. The Caldwell Ranch's oil deal brought in $10 million, funding her program and a new community center in Colorado. She rode her horse, Daisy, across Harper Haven's fields, the Rockies glowing in the sunset. Her father's words echoed, This land's your blood. Protect it. She had, and more. In Austin, Travis's Uber shifts left him exhausted, his one-bedroom apartment a shrine to regret. Mason, working nights at a bar, avoided him, their brotherhood fractured. Kaylee's Instagram showed her in a cheap motel, her second-chance posts ignored. Emma, meanwhile, toasted her new life with a Shiner Bock, surrounded by her mentees. To freedom, she said, raising her bottle. They cheered, the Rockies echoing their voices. The Colorado sun hung low over Harper Haven, casting a golden glow across Emma Caldwell's sustainable ranch. It was July 2026, nearly a year since the explosive rodeo-themed anniversary party at Austin's South Congress Hotel, where Emma had turned the tables on her cheating husband Travis, exposing his plan to sell her $12 million oil-rich ranch and run off with his mistress Kaylee. Now 53, Emma stood on her cabin's porch, the Rockies stretching before her like a promise kept. The $1.5 million Colorado cabin, part of her father's offshore trust, was her sanctuary, a cedar-walled haven with a skylit art studio where her paintings captured the wild beauty of her new life. The trust's $2 million cash and mineral rights, combined with the Caldwell Ranch's oil deal, now yielding $10 million up front, had secured her freedom. But it was her heart, unburdened by betrayal, that shone brightest. Inside, Harper Haven buzzed with purpose. Emma's mentorship program, Harper's Hope, had grown to 100 women across Colorado and Texas, teaching painting, ranching, and resilience. Her studio walls were lined with canvases, vibrant Texas plains, misty Colorado peaks, that sold for $20,000 apiece at Denver galleries. At a recent workshop, Emma stood before a group of young women, her denim jacket embroidered with Harper's Hope, her voice steady with Texan grit. "Life'll knock you down," she said, holding up a painting of a lone longhorn against a stormy sky. "My husband tried to take everything, my ranch, my pride, my future, but I had my daddy's trust and my own strength. You don't just survive betrayal, you rise above it." Lily, her 20-year-old mentee, clapped, eyes shining. "Emma, you're proof we can start over. Your story's changing lives." The group nodded, some wiping tears. Emma smiled, her heart full. She'd turned her pain into power, mentoring women like Lily to claim their own futures. Back in Austin, Travis Caldwell's world had crumbled to dust. At 54, he was a shadow of the swaggering oil prospector Emma once loved. His Uber gig barely covered rent for his one-bedroom apartment off I-35, a far cry from the sprawling Caldwell Ranch. His $50,000 loan debt, taken to fund Kaylee's failed venture, hounded him, his credit ruined. The Austin oil scene had shunned him, his reputation as a cheater and fraud sealed by the viral The Ranch Reckoning videos, now at 4 million views. One evening, he sat in a dive bar, nursing a cheap beer, scrolling X posts mocking his downfall. Travis Caldwell thought he could steal her ranch. Big oof. He'd tried texting Emma twice, begging for a meeting, but she'd blocked him after his last pitiful voicemail. "I'm broken. Give me a chance." Silence was her answer. Mason, Travis's brother, fared no better. His house, mortgaged to back Travis's loans, was foreclosed in January. At 50, he worked as a bouncer at a rundown Austin bar, his cowboy hat replaced by a stained cap. He'd sent Emma one last bitter message. "You took everything, you cold-hearted witch." She didn't reply, letting his words dissolve like dust in the wind. Mason's friends had turned on him, tired of his whining about the family legacy he'd tried to steal. Kaylee, the blonde bombshell who'd pinned her hopes on Travis's scheme, had fallen hardest. Her marriage to Greg Thornton, the oil exec, collapsed when his fraud scandal tanked his $50 million fortune. By August, Kaylee was back in Austin, living in a budget motel, her Instagram a ghost town after her final post, a selfie in faded makeup captioned, "Sometimes you lose the bet." Rumors swirled she was chasing another rich mark, but Austin's elite shunned her, whispering about her role in New Ranch Reckoning. "She thought she'd snag a penthouse," Callie told Emma over the phone. "Now she's selling her red cowboy boots on eBay." Emma laughed, saddling her horse Daisy for a ride across Harper Haven's fields. "Karma's a hell of a thing, Callie." Her friend's voice crackled with glee. "Girl, you're living the dream while they're eating crow. Heard you're speaking at Austin's Women in Business Summit next month. Gonna tell your story?" "Damn right," Emma said, mounting Daisy. "Gonna show 'em what happens when you bet against a Texas woman." The summit, set for September, was her chance to inspire thousands. She'd already been featured in a Texas Monthly article titled, "The Ranch Queen Who Fought Back," her photo, boots planted, arms crossed, gracing the cover. At the summit, held in Austin's Palmer Events Center, Emma took the stage, her turquoise necklace glinting under the lights. The crowd of 2,000 women roared as she recounted her journey, 30 years with Travis, his betrayal with Kaylee, the $12 million ranch he tried to steal, and the $3.5 million trust that saved her. "I stood in that ballroom," she said, her drawl commanding, and told my truth. My daddy's land, his money, his belief in me, they were my shield. But my courage? That was mine. Don't let anyone take your power, ladies. You build your own legacy. The standing ovation shook the room. Lily, now a program leader for Harper's Hope, hugged her backstage. You're changing the game, Emma. A young entrepreneur approached, eyes wide. I'm leaving my toxic job because of you. Thank you. Emma squeezed her hand. Go claim your life, darling. As she left the stage, a figure lingered in the shadows. Travis. He'd snuck in, his face haggard, his Uber lanyard dangling. Emma, he croaked, stepping forward. I saw your speech. You're incredible. I know I don't deserve it, but can we talk? I'm trying to be better. Emma's gaze was steel. Travis, you had 30 years to be better. You chose Kaylee, chose greed, chose to humiliate me in front of Austin. I've got my ranch, my money, my life. You've got your regrets. Live with them. She walked past, her boots echoing, the crowd's cheers drowning his plea. Outside, the Austin skyline sparkled, a reminder of the city she'd conquered. Back in Colorado, Emma rode Daisy under a September moon, Harper Haven's fields alive with promise. Her paintings hung in galleries from Denver to Dallas. Her mentorship program was expanding to New Mexico, and her oil deal brought in $2 million more. She was free, whole, unstoppable. Raising a glass of whiskey to the stars, she whispered, To you, Daddy, to me. The Rockies echoed her triumph, and Emma Caldwell knew she'd won. Not just the ranch, but herself. If you loved Emma's story of grit and glory, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more epic tales of triumph. Hit that button, join the ride, and let's keep telling stories that inspire.